بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of practical wisdom in the Qur'an. We ended with Hadith number 1701 from Muntakhab Mizan al-Hikmah, or the scale of wisdom, which was about al-hikmatu dhallatul mu'min. Salam alaikum. فَخُذِ الْحِكْمَةَ وَلَوْ مِنْ أَهْلِ النِّفَاقِ. In the previous hadith, we had it فَاتْلُبُوهَا وَلَوْ عِنْدَ الْمُشْرِكِ, and here says فَخُذِ الْحِكْمَةَ وَلَوْ مِنْ أَهْلِ النِّفَاقِ. Hikmah is something that mu'min has missed and is looking for. Dhalla is when you lose something and you are looking for it. Take it even from Ahlin Nifaq, hypocrites. The previous one was from polytheists. And as we explained, we said a wise idea can be found everywhere. Good people, bad people, they may have received some wise ideas, and we should be happy to take it. Of course, if you are a person who can discern and there is no worry of being confused, you can look around and find what is wise and take it. But this is different from having wisdom as a quality. Wisdom as a quality cannot be found with corruption of the soul or impurities of the soul, and inshallah we will talk about it later. The next title here is ما لا ينبغي للحكيم فعله. Hadith 1702 and 1703, about those things that someone who is wise should not do it. Okay? These hadiths help us in understanding better what is wisdom, what is hikmah. Because by understanding what Hakim is not supposed to do, you can understand what is hikmah. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, لَيْسَ بِحَكِيمٍ مَنْ قَصَدَ بِحَاجَتِهِ غَيْرَ كَرِيمٍ. The one who refers for his needs to someone who is not honorable is not wise. How do you interpret this? How do you explain this? When you go to someone who is not kareem, who is not honorable, either he doesn't give you, or even if he gives you, he takes away your honor. And your honor is the most valuable thing. Hakim is not going to take something more valuable to receive something less valuable. Yeah? So if you are wise, you don't go to people who are mean, people who are not honorable, because either they don't give you, or even if they give you, they damage your honor and dignity, which is more important. Okay? In another hadith, Amirul Mu'minin said, لَيْسَ الْحَكِيمُ مَنْ لَمْ يُدَارِهِ مَنْ لَا يَجِدُ بُدًّا مِنْ مُدَارَاتِهِ. Maybe some of you listened to my lectures in Muharram, last Muharram. Last Muharram, few nights we talked about rationality. And this hadith and another hadith which comes later are what we discussed in Muharram. The one who does not do Madara. Madara means you know how to deal with people that may differ, may disagree with you, and you somehow are able to observe some courtesy, some diplomacy, sometimes some compromise, in order to avoid harm, or in order to secure greater interests. Pardon? Yes. Madara is very much emphasized in our hadith. Mudaratun nas. You have to be able to deal with people in the way that your relation would not be broken. You avoid conflicts and unnecessary tension. So, لَيْسَ الْحَكِيمُ مَنْ لَمْ يُدَارِهِ مَنْ لَا يَجِدُ بُدًّا مِنْ مُدَارَاتِهِ. Is not wise the one who does not observe Madara with those that he must have Madara with them. There are people that you need relation with them. For example, you have a neighbor. He's your neighbor. You cannot, ignore your neighbor. So you have to somehow maintain your relation with your neighbor in a good way. Otherwise, you will suffer. With your family members, with your in-laws, with your colleagues at work, with the authorities. The main rule, the primary rule, is with these people that you have to deal with them, you try to observe Madara. Of course, sometimes a secondary rule comes that you need maybe to criticize, maybe you need to stop your relation. But the main principle is Madara. Unfortunately, for some people, the first principle is fight. Fight, condemnation, attack, criticism. If it doesn't work, then they try to be kind and respectful. We have to be opposite. The first principle, the primary rule, is to be nice with people. Even if someone is your enemy, a little Madara, you can reduce their enmity. It's very important. If someone disagrees with you and you manage to a little bit cool down that person, it's a success. And if you make it worse, it's a failure. Don't say he's my enemy. Okay, your enemy, you can keep it as it is or calm him down, or you can make him more angry. Hakim is the one that observes all the measures. Those who are not Hakim, first of all, they treat everyone who is different as enemy. And then among enemies, there is no rank, there is no degree. Everyone is the same. And for everyone is the same policy. But Hakim tries to find out who are the people who are different and not enemy. And then among enemies, there are different degrees. And how much we can cool down our relation as much as possible. In lecture that I mentioned for Milad of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, here and especially in Birmingham with our Sunni brothers, we had discussion was in December. So I mentioned this ayah. Remember, we had a methodological point that those verses which relate to mission statement of the Prophet are very, very important. They are absolutely important. And this is a very important methodological point, that you have to consider these verses as governing and underlying verses, and these shed light on other verses. Even if these verses in statistics, in number, are not many, but these are more important than hundreds of verses that may have come for certain contexts. So we were talking about the verses in Surah Ahzab. يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا وبشر المؤمنين بأن لهم من الله فضلا كبيرا ولا تطع الكافرين والمنافقين ودع أذاهم وتوكل على الله وكفى بالله وكيلا. Very beautiful. When Allah is making Prophet aware of his mission, he doesn't say in your mission you have to fight kuffar and munafiqin. This was not in the mission of the Prophet, mission statement. If Prophet had to sometimes go to war, it was imposed on him. This was not in the mission statement. What was in the mission statement? لا تطع الكفار والمنافقين. Don't obey them. As if there could be maybe a kind of confusion or lack of clarity that we can even obey them. Allah says, لا تطع الكفار والمنافقين. And kuffar, of course, doesn't mean non-Muslims. Kuffar is, as we have said many times, most of the time means kufr al-juhud. Kuffar means jahadul biha wastayqanatha anfusahum. Kuffar means Abu Sufyan, for example, Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl. Munafiqeen are those who are worse than these people. So not every non-Muslim or every atheist. But even with these people, Allah says, لا تطع الكفار والمنافقين. But what if they annoy you? They may annoy you because they want to either stop you or make you busy. وَدَعْ أَذَاهُمْ. Leave them, and they're, when they want to annoy you, leave them. Ignore them. دَعْ أَذَاهُمْ. So as much as possible, don't let them carry you away from your mission and divert you. They want to keep you busy, but you have to focus. Yeah? For example, you are a doctor and there are bad people in that neighborhood, they don't want you to treat ill people. They come outside and shout and, make noise. So what should you do as doctor? As much as possible, you focus on your work. You ignore them. Let them make themselves tired. But if a time comes that they want to physically stop you, then you have to push them. But as long as it's just words and, propaganda, leave it. That Allah. And in Birmingham, I mentioned the example of that follower of Musa alayhi salam, that was getting angry with people of Fir'aun and fighting and engaging Musa. It's quite opposite. We should not let the other party to make us busy, and then the leadership becomes busy, then the community becomes busy. Da'wah. Anyway, this is very important. I don't know you understand the significance of this or not. It's very, very important. Because in the end of the day, you have priorities, you have limited time and energy. As much as possible, you have to focus on your work. So, لَيْسَ الْحَكِيمُ مَنْ لَمْ يُدَارِهِ مَنْ لَا يَجِدُ بُدًّا مِنْ مُدَارَاتِهِ. There are people that you have to deal with them. So you are not wise if you don't have good relation with them. You don't try to have the kind of diplomacy with them. Okay. Then we go to... Yes.
So, if we are Hakim,
Yes.
does it mean you never confront anyone?
You don't confront. But sometimes they come and physically attack you, and you have to defend yourself. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had no enmity with anyone. It's very important. He had enemies, but he didn't have enmity towards them. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is not enemy of shaitan. Shaitan is enemy of Allah and enemy of human beings. Yeah? In the sense that from one side, you only want good for everyone. Rasulullah is rahmatun lil alameen. Yeah? Rasulullah is a mu'allim. Rasulullah is a teacher. Rasulullah is not a warrior. But if the time comes that he has to defend, he is the bravest person to defend himself and his ummah or innocent people. But it's not in his mission statement that we are sending you as a warrior. Do you understand the difference? So, next hadith is hadith 1703. I don't know, is the heater off or on? It's off? On? Can you? So I feel very warm. Yeah? Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Because this discussion needs lots of oxygen. Okay. Tafsirul Hakim. The next. Yes. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, a little is good. Now we have some hadith about interpretation of hikmah. Of course, inshallah, we are going to have today a detailed discussion about meaning of hikmah based on the books. But first I want to review this hadith. We have few hadiths here about interpretation of hikmah. Hadith 1703. Ahsan. Thank you very much. أول الحكمة ترك اللذات. This is a concept that we find in several hadiths. That hikmah cannot be achieved and maintained if you go after, pleasures, physical, thank you very much, temporary pleasure, instant pleasure. Of course, we have, intellectual pleasure as we discussed in Mahajjatul Bayda. But here we mean lazat means the lower desires that you satisfy to get some pleasure. So the beginning of hikmah is tarkul lazat, to refrain from such pleasures. وآخرها مقت الفانيات. And the end of wisdom is that you dislike those things that expire. Yes, exactly. It came to my mind also. You don't want things that expire. You invest on things that are going to remain. Suppose you are a person who wants to do some business. There are some fields that if you invest for some time, they are good. There's demand for them, you make money, but then after some time they go down. And there are some fields that if you invest, they will always be on top. They never go down. So where do you invest? You invest where you know that it's going to be always good. Always there is demand for it. Hakim is not investing on the things that don't endure. And finish. Yeah? Unfortunately, most of the time, energy, money today in the world is spent on things which are not endurable. Yeah? I told you in Akhlaq several times, this is the time that people look for instant satisfaction, instant pleasure. Everything they like to be instant. But we have to look for something which is endurable. Yes, time is important. We don't waste time, but we are not in a rush. We have to see what is more productive, more endurable. In another hadith, Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam said, "Min al-hikmatih Allah tunazi'a man fawqak." This is also what we had in Muharram. Min al-hikmatih Allah tunazi'a man fawqak wa la tastadilla man dunak. A requirement of hikmah is not to confront those who are above you. Your, boss, managers, governments, leaders, elders, parents. Don't confront with them. Even if you disagree, as much as possible, keep relations, good, as much as possible. I'm not saying in all circumstances, but your main principle is to keep relations calm and avoid confrontation as much as possible. وَلَا تَسْتَذِلَّ مَنْ دُونَكَ. And those who are lower than you, they are, for example, under you, working for you, can be your students, can be your employee, can be your children, can be youths, any person who is under you in some categories or working for you, they're under your care, don't humiliate them. It's amazing. Don't fight those who are above you and don't humiliate those who are below. And for those who are then equal, what should you do? Pardon? Then you have to observe both. Because if with respect to those who are under you, you are not supposed to humiliate them, so you should not also humiliate people who are at your level, and also avoid confrontation. وَلَا تَتَعَاطَى مَا لَيْسَ فِي قُدْرَتِكَ. Don't undertake what you don't have power for it and capacity for it. Undertake something that you can manage. Okay? For example, don't take too many lessons. Of course, I don't think I need to say anyone hear this, but in some places they take too many lessons. You know, in Qom, we were constantly told by our teachers, don't take too many, because from morning till night we wanted to study. Okay? So they used to tell, and every lesson is daily normally. You know, our medicine, we have 5 days a week, every day, 1 hour. So we were told, دو درس کمه، 3 تا زیاد. 2 is not enough, 3 is more than enough. It means between 2 and 3. Of course, every lesson was serious lesson. You had to study, you had to do mubahasa. And then if you have extra time, you take other marginal subjects or you teach. But they were saying, for example, not take 4 dars kharij, for example, between 2 and. So, if you take too much lessons and you are not able to study, you are not able to do mubahasa, it's not. Or if you teach too much, or if you work too much, for example, anything has a measure, anything has a limit. Yeah? Even ibadat has limit. You cannot day and night do ibadah. This world, Allah has created in a way that for everything there is a right measure and balance. Yes? So, Hakim is the one that does not undertake what he or she cannot deliver. It's too much for him or her. وَلَا يُخَالِفَ لِسَانُكَ قَلْبَكَ. It's not wisdom if your tongue disagrees with your heart. There's a conflict between what is in your heart and what you say. If what is in your heart not good and you cannot say it, why you let it be in your heart? Because the most sacred place in every person is your heart. If there are bad things in your heart that you cannot say it, so why you keep it there? Yeah? It's like, for example, there is something that I cannot hold it with my hand because people will, get angry with me. Then I swallow it so that no one can see it. Does that make sense? Anything which is bad, don't let it be in your heart. So, we have to be honest, yes.
What about the cases where, for example, you're advising people the same thing that you are working on yourself at the same time?
Yes. So, you have to be really honestly working on yourself and should not pretend that you are a person who is free from that problem. So it should be clear that I am not praising myself at the same time that I am criticizing you, or giving you my advice that you should improve, but I am not in that position. I have solved my problem. So we have to be very honest. It's very important. وَلَا قَوْلُكَ فِعْلَكَ. Your word and your action also should not contradict. Your heart should not contradict your word. Your word should not contradict your action. So there must be harmony between heart and tongue and action. If you remember when we were talking about sidq, I think it was second year, about sidq, we said sidq is not just to tell the truth. It means there must be harmony between action, words, and heart. This is sidq. وَلَا تَتَكَلَّمْ فِي مَا لَا تَعْلَمْ. Don't speak about what you don't know. Sometimes people think, this is a very important point. Sometimes people think as long as what I say can be right, it's enough. Maybe unconsciously, they think, I don't say something which I know it's wrong. For example, if you ask me a shari'i question, fiqh question, if I know this answer is wrong, I don't give you the answer. But maybe this is correct. So some people, when there is a chance that this might be correct, they say, inshallah it is correct. But you cannot take risk. Whether you know it is wrong or there is a chance that it might be wrong, you should not say it. The same is things that we receive about people. If someone tells us something, it's not enough that you don't have evidence against it. Even if you don't have evidence against it, as long as there is no proof, you cannot share it. Even if there is proof, you cannot share it with everyone because it becomes ghaibah. There are cases that we may need to share with someone because we want to solve the problem. But we cannot share definitely anything which is not proved. But unfortunately, this is a common problem. That people think we don't tell lies, but if there is a chance that something might be true, it's okay. There is a saying in Arabic, and I don't know it's hadith or it's a mathal, I have to check. It says, كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ كِذْبًا أَنْ يُحَدِّثَ بِكُلِّ مَا سَمِعَهُ. It's hadith, huh? Yes. It is sufficient for a person to be counted as a liar if he says whatever he hears, whatever he receives from people, he relays to other people. This is enough to make you a liar. So you don't need, in order to become a liar, you don't need just to tell 100% lies. Even think that there might be not correct, you should not tell it. So these are all hikmah. وَلَا تَتْرُكِ الْأَمْرَ عِنْدَ الْإِقْبَالِ وَتَطْلُبَهُ عِنْدَ الْإِدْبَارِ. One of the things that Hakim should observe is that everything has a proper time. الْأُمُورُ مَرْهُونَةٌ بِأَوْقَاتِهَا. Yeah? Everything has a proper time, a peak time. Okay? You should be finding what's the best time. Unfortunately, sometimes when it's the right time for doing something, we don't do it. And when the right time passes, we wake up and we want to do it. It's not going to work. Something that, for example, I think parents need to know is, for example, about children. children, when they are very, very young, they have great respect for their parents. Actually, at the beginning, they think you are their Lord. Yeah, as we have in Hadith, that whenever you promise your children, keep your promise because they look at you as their Lord, as the one who gives them rest. Then from lordship you come down. Okay? Then for them you become like a prophet. Then you become a great role model. Then you become a respected person. Then a time comes that you are not even as valuable as their peers. They respect more their peers than you. Of course, I'm not saying everyone, but this is the way that in many cases things go till then they realize what's the proper attitude. But gradually they go to this procedure many times. So when still you have that high position, you see your children imitate you. They come to you. They don't want to leave you. They don't let you, eat, study, go out. Always they want to be with you. That's the time for tarbiyah. But unfortunately, that time normally we are busy with making money or doing other things. And then when it reaches the time that they don't respect us that much, then we want to force ourselves on them. That's the time that actually you have to be patient and a little bit let them to be free, but from distance control them. So when is the time for remote control, you want to control them closely. That's not working. When it was the time to be closely working with them, you left them. So this is very important. Hakim knows when is the time of iqbal and idbar. At the time of iqbal, he does things. When there is idbar, idbar means they are, things are turning their back to you. Means it's not proper time. For example, now we have, alhamdulillah, our academic year. We have classes, we have teachers, we have students. If you don't study, then when the term finishes, you say, I want to study now. But where is teacher? Where is class? When Sheikh Shomali was telling you to study and do mubahasa, you didn't do it. A time would come that you might say, oh, I wish that's not working. So, everything needs careful appreciation of proper time. There are times, even in tabligh, there are times that there's so much noise. Sometimes you have to keep quiet. When everyone is busy, you keep quiet. When they become tired, then you can start. So you have to know the best timing. Okay. We go to next hadith, which is, because to save time, I go to hadith 1708. So two hadiths, I leave it for your own study. It's from Imam Kazim alayhi salam. Qila lil-Luqman, because Luqman had hikmah. لَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ. So it was said to Luqman, مَا يَجْمَعُ مِنْ حِكْمَتِكَ. Tell us something that can summarize your hikmah. If you want to give us an inclusive description of your hikmah. Luqman said, لا أسأل عما كفيته ولا أتكلف ما لا يعني. I don't ask for something that I don't need. Either I have enough or in future I will get it. Sometimes we ask for the things that we don't need. Either asking in the sense of asking question or either asking for some hajat request that we don't need. Second, I don't trouble myself by engaging in something that doesn't relate to me, doesn't matter to me. So, if you don't need something and it doesn't relate to you, leave it. Because you have to manage your energy, your time. There are many things that doesn't matter to us. It is said that they told someone in a village that your neighbor's cow has delivered. Said, it's none of my business. They said, no, now he has milk and they will have extra milk and they would give you milk. Then he said, it's none of your business. So there are many things that we talk that it's not our business. We should not, spend our time and energy on finding these things. So this is Luqman al-Hakim summarizing his hikmah. Then we go to Hadith 1709 in the section Ra'sul Hikmah. What is the fountainhead or foundation of hikmah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ra'sul hikmati makhafatullah. Having fear, God-fearing, taqwa, fear of God, is the fountainhead of hikmah. Because khawf here means you observe Allah's will. I am very much impressed by this passage in Munajat al-Sha'baniyah. There are lots of beautiful passages there, but about khawf. Ilahi, alhiqni binur izzika al-abhaj fa'akuna laka arifa, or hatta akuna laka arifa وعن سواك منحرفا ومنك خائفا مراقبا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. Oh Allah, please let me join, alhaqni, let me join بنور عزك الأبهج, the most joyful light of your dignity, so that I would be arif for you. Because if you join that light, then you would know him properly. وَعَنْ سِوَاكَ مُنْحَرِفًا, and then I would deviate from anything other than you. Yeah? If you get to the source of light, you would not be interested in darkness. وَمِنْكَ خَائِفًا مُرَاقِبًا, and I would be fearful from you and muraqib, monitoring myself. So this shows that khawf here is a matter of muraqabah. It's not a matter of negative fear. There are two ways that khawf can work. Sometimes I am afraid of someone because that person is dangerous. So I have fear because a harm may come from that person to me. Sometimes I feel safe about that person, but I have fear that I may do something wrong in presence of that person. You understand? Imagine if they give you a very unique and exceptional manuscript. So this is the only copy in the world. Be very careful. Then you have fear. If it drops from my hand, what is going to happen? If I am going to turn, you say, no, please keep it yourself. I just look at it from distance. I don't want to be damaging the only copy available in the world. Yeah? Or for example, if you are in front of a person that you love a lot and you are worried that you may say something, you may do something, this fear is not fear from that person. This fear is from you doing something wrong. You understand the difference? So, رَأْسُ الْحِكْمَةِ مَخَافَةُ اللَّهِ. The fountainhead, the foundation of hikmah is that you have this kind of fear, that you don't want to do anything that would be displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah is perfect, Allah is the purest, and you don't want to do anything wrong, which would be then put you in a conflict with Him. We go one hadith, we skip one hadith, we go to the other one, 17:11. Another thing which is fountainhead of hikmah is rifq. Inna rifqa ra'sul hikmah. Rifq. Moderation. Moderation is also very important. No place for excess or extreme or harshness. Rifq. And Rafiq is the one who is a good friend because he has rifq with you. He doesn't make you tired. If you are traveling together, if you are good friend and good companion, you help me, you give me joy, and you don't, trouble me or, make me work harder than I can, You observe moderation and kindness with me. This is Rafiq. Hasuna ulaika rafiqa. On the Sirat al-Mustaqim, you have Nabi'in, Shuhada, Siddiqin, Salihin, wa hasuna ulaika rafiqa, because they are very moderate and kind with you. If in dunya you travel with Rasulullah, suppose you are climbing a mountain with Rasulullah, and he has been going up and down, and this is your first time. Is Rasulullah going to be Rafiq with you or no? He says, you have to come, no matter, it's your first time and it's my 100th time. Definitely Rasulullah is going to be moderate and kind and considerate with you. Okay? The same is for Akhirah. For Akhirah also, they are considering people's capacity. We have hadith in Usul al-Kafi about Darajatul Iman and how people who are in higher rank should observe the capacity of people who are in lower rank. It's very important. You as a teacher, as a trainer, as an elder, as a parent, might be in a higher position. Your role is to help them rise, but not to pressurize them. You should understand their situation, and little by little, it's not that you give up. There's a difference between giving up and between being moderate and kind and considerate. So we have to help people to rise. But if you want to throw them to air, it doesn't work. You have to give them good company and make this journey for them easy. Yeah? And perhaps this is one of the reasons why prophets were normally shepherds. Because if you learn how to be moderate with animals, then inshallah later also you would have enough patience to cope with people in different capacities. Yeah? Of course, sometimes dealing with animals is easy. But at least to begin with, that experience helps you. Amir al-Mu'minin salam said, Ra's, Hadith 17:12. Ra'sul hikmatih luzumul haq wa ta'atul muhiq. Very beautiful. If you remember our discussion about truthfulness, we said this is the main value in Islamic ethics, truthfulness. Ra'sul hikmah luzumul haq. To commit yourself to the truth. Wa ta'atul muhiq. And someone who is true, someone who is right, obey him. You know, we can do two things. To accept and acknowledge the truth, or to ignore and fight the truth. Which one is better? Some people think, I only acknowledge my own interests. And I manipulate the truth so that I get what I want. But this has never worked in the history. No one can have long-term success by ignoring or fighting the truth. It's like a person who is ill and thinks that he becomes healthy by ignoring his illness. If you don't acknowledge your illness, you don't become healthy. The same thing is in any area in the life. If I have a problem with my wife, with my neighbor, with my colleagues, with any person, any group, any organization, any religion, I have to find out the truth. Not that I insist on what I want. You can insist forever on what you want and then you get nowhere. You can try to find out the truth and commit yourself to truth. This will solve your problem for the long term. Any other way has no success in the long term. It's like illness that you ignore it. Okay, illness remains, maybe grows, maybe will kill you. So wisdom requires to be committed to the truth and obey those who are right. Ta'atul muhiq. It's very important. If we achieve only this one, then we'll have all the virtues. Because all the virtues come from this point. And as you remember, we said, even we are not supposed to just acknowledge the truth when we know it. We should seek the truth. We should be restless unless we find the truth. Yeah? It's a sign of mu'min. Then we have a section about ma yurithul hikmah. Here, there is emphasis on resisting against your lusts and appetites and lower desires and having ascetic life, in the sense of not being attached to worldly pleasure too much. To save time, I don't mention. Let me see how much we. Yes, this is what I'm checking. Yes. We take a little break and then inshallah we continue. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.